Okay, I'm going to walk through the exercise 1 in chapter 5 for auxiliary views, and I'm going to walk around the front view first. Now, right now my UCS is oriented to draw on the top, so I'm going to start by orienting it so that my XY plane is on the front view. So I'm going to say UCS, user coordinate system, and I want to just rotate around the x-axis 90 degrees. So I just typed X and 90 degrees, enter. Now the view cube says top, but I'm not actually drawing on the top here. I am drawing on the XY plane. I'm going to use a polyline, P-line, to walk around the outside shape of my object, and then I'll just extrude it out. So I'm going from 0, 0, all the way to 10, 0, up to 10, 2, and then over to 5, 7, and then 3, 5, and these are coordinates I just penciled into the worksheet. 6, 2, 0, 2, and at the very end to close it you can just hit C for close, and I'll zoom out and we'll see the shape we made here. Okay, so this is the side view, and now we can go ahead and use the extrude command, extrude, and we will, let's bring this guy forward. So here's the object to extrude, enter, and it has a thickness of 8 little squares. Okay, so there's kind of the basic shape. We're going to carve away at it. It has a couple corners popped off, so I'm going to move my user coordinate system up to the little plane we have to work on here. So here's my X coordinate, and notice that I have my my orthographic snaps on, so that when I'm placing my coordinate system, they're going to be lined up correctly on here. So here's the top of it, and I need to slice off those corners. So I'm going to do that with another polyline, P-line, and this is going to be looking down from the top view, slicing off the corners. So 0, 0, enter, 2, 0, enter, and then I'll do 0, 2, and C for close. Now this is, both corners are chopped off here, so I'm going to go ahead and use the mirror command, select objects, enter, and I'll use my snapping tools, just grab that center point and mirror it over. I could have also created this using just a chamfer command, but either way it's the same thing. Okay, I'll go ahead and use press pull. There's my first corner I need to take off, and I'm going to say multiple so I can grab both of them at once. So there's both corners, enter, and I'm just going to pull it all the way through my object. Changing from a wireframe view to a solid view, what I'm going to use now is the subtract command, S-U-B-T-R-A-C-T, and you grab the object you want to keep first, enter, and then select everything you want to get rid of, enter. Okay, so that chopped off the corners, and don't forget to save every now. Save as, I'm going to save this as CH5E1 for chapter 5, exercise 1. It's always good to save it with some kind of a file name that's descriptive, so choose how to kind of organize your work. You end up with a lot of files with CAD, and so choosing how to, organize your folders and stuff is kind of important. I just deleted off, now that I've used those little sketches to extrude, I don't need the lines in there anymore. Okay, so what we have is an object where this side is not at 90 degrees to the other side. So that's the big deal with auxiliary views, is you have something that's not oriented well to see with the normal 90-degree orthographic views. The last little piece, they have a hole drilled in here, so I'm going to move my user coordinate system, And we're going to put them over here on this face. I'm going to snap off my ortho view because we are now on something that does not have a nice 90-degree orientation. And I'm going to orient my coordinate system so that we can draw on this face. So see how my X, Y axes are lined up with drawing on this face? Okay, so now I'm going to drill a hole in here. So I'll just start up my circle command. Now this was extruded out 8, so the center would be 4. And it's a little bit hard to actually tell how far up the circle is. You can get out your ruler, and those squares are like a 1/4 inch apart, and it's around 5 up is where it should be. And we'll make the radius, I'll make a smaller one. So I'll make a radius of just 1. Okay, we can go back and actually change that radius. Should we make it a 1.5? Yeah, this thing is really hard to tell. Let's see what 1.25 looks like. Yeah, let's make it 1.25. Okay, so I'm going to take this circle now and use press pull, and we're going to push it through the surface. And not too far. Okay, so there we go. We use press pull, and now we have a hole in the front of it. Coming over to my layout, escape gets out of the press pull command. We'll start with view base. Now, if you didn't orient your coordinate system correctly, you won't have this as the front view, and you might have to change your orientation as you first pull up the view base command. I'm going to go ahead and bump up my scale just a little bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the traditional views. I'll delete these out later, but just to show you the foreshortening effect. So foreshortening is what happens when the view is not lined up nice on it. So like if you look over here, it doesn't look like a circle because you can't look straight down at that sideways guy. So it's going to look kind of weird and awkward, and it's not a very good description of what's going on. So this is a case where we're going to just delete out those views that aren't showing what's going on very well. If you want to change the scale later, you can come up to the quick properties. So let's say we want a smaller scale on this just to give us a little bit more room. And that is, you just click on the object and say quick properties, and you can change things around. So maybe we want to change this around to, okay. So that would be a 1:2 scale. Maybe we pop him down kind of small. Okay, the easiest way to make the auxiliary views on these things is with view sections. I'm just going to move him out of the way and use view section, only we're not going to chop through this thing. We're going to grab it right along the surface here. So it's snapping on, and it's right at the surface, and then we can just pull this guy out. So that would be looking straight down at it, and we can label this thing as the true surface, TS, and we have our sectional views. For any of these things, for the formatting, all you have to do is right-click on it, go to Quick Properties, and you can come in here and do things like change the text height. I don't know why it defaults to such a large text on there. And then when you're dimensioning these guys, you're probably going to want to do the, so I'm going to say new dimensioning style. I'll call it my auxiliary dimensioning style. And let's see, text, make that a little bit smaller. Arrows, make those a little bit smaller too. I like to match my arrow size to the text size. Units, bump down your precision. We don't need 10 zeros. And then for the fit on here, what we can do, I like to keep text between extension lines and suppress arrows. Now what we can do is, instead of dim linear, we're going to use dim aligned. And that's going to be for kind of sideways line. So go ahead and hit dim aligned and see how that's lined up with our line now. Enter pulls up that previous command, so you don't have to redo it. So it's kind of an awkward length for that guy. For the circle, we have the entire circle, so that means we can dimension the diameter. See, it'll put that little diameter symbol on there for us. And then for our sectional view, just to line everything up, we can go ahead and rotate that guy. So select objects, rotate select objects, base point, and then just pull him so that he is lined up with him. And we can do that for our true surface as well. So we're going to rotate our true surface, specify base point, and just line him up with here. And just grab those little blue squares to move your text around. Okay, so that would be your auxiliary view. It's pulled off of that sideways view so you can look straight down at it instead of getting kind of the distorted view that you would usually get with those orthographic views.